Hey, hey, hey. This
Yo,
is this is Melissa and
Ty.
Tyler. Now you can tell this was not a planned interview. Head tied up, stretched out on the couch. She stretched out. You know, wait. And we were just laying here talking. And you know what? We are still doing our 10 for win. It's the competition Tony and I created to give ourselves some momentum that the first person to get to 10 new subscribers, one of us has to give the other a fat, crispy $100 bill. Who do you think winning, Naya?
Oh no.
Really? I give you one guess. It's not me. It's not me. Oh Lord. But you know what? Even though I have quitting tendencies, I'm gonna ride this out until he gets to 10. In the words of Teddy Riley, it ain't over. The party's not over. It ain't over. So, um, one of the biggest to me things that come with this myEcon membership, which I've had since 11/17/2015. It was a Sunday, and I got in touch with Professor Clarkton to see what's the big deal about this stuff you keep talking about. So he gave me a breakdown on what myEcon does and how I can expect for it to do for me. So, honey, after he got to talking, now mind you ain't know 100% what Tony was saying, but I felt like it was something that if I put my nose to the grindstone and studied and looked at the IRS publications and everything, that I would be able to figure it out. And over the years, I have been able to figure a lot of things out. But this, my credit system that we have, it is a do-it-yourself credit system. And I think we've explained a couple of times why we feel that a do-it-yourself is more long-lasting than when you get somebody else to fix it. Because 9 times out of 10, if it goes, if it doesn't go, if the score doesn't stay up high, you're gonna be right back in the predicament you were in before. So now it would be a good example of that. Like, let me think. Um, let's say you broke your bicycle, right? And you get Uncle Reggie to fix your bicycle for you. And he bring it back and it's always looking like this new. But let's say Uncle Reggie didn't tell you nothing that he did to fix it. He didn't tell you what to avoid to keep from it breaking down again. You know, none of the personal information that you need. But because you so happy to have a bike that you can ride again, you like, I ain't answering all those questions. Yeah, he fixed it how he fixed it. And I get that too. So um, you get on your bike, you ride, next thing you know, chain had popped off. Chain had popped off and the brakes done locked up. So who are you gonna take that bike back to?
Uncle Reggie.
Uh-huh. So that in a lot of ways is how these credit repair people end up making money off of you. And I'm not saying all of them are crooked, because technically, if you don't ask no questions, I guess they don't have to answer any. But like if somebody worked on your credit, wait, what? You don't want them to see how sweet my baby is? Anyway, she tried to get upset. So if if Naya doesn't ask the right questions, like Uncle Reggie, well, how can I keep this from happening again? Do you know what happened? That it stopped working? I mean, I've been riding it for a while. Now, if she asks those questions, she will get answers. But if people don't ask, you don't get answers. And a lot of times, if someone is repairing or doing something for you, and you don't ask a lot of details, they already know, depending on what it is, you're gonna need them back. So you done went out and gave them free advertising saying, I paid $500 and they got my credit score up 30 points. And you all excited and everything. Then next thing you notice, because your spending habits haven't changed and you know how you um use your credit cards maybe hasn't changed. So you haven't really learned anything. So you're gonna keep doing what you were doing before. And guess what? You're gonna be right back where you were. So if you learn to do it yourself with a lot with our kit, it's very detailed. You got training steps for everything. And it goes over everything you need to know. So now you know how to fix it yourself. And that means you know how to maintain it and how to make it grow. Because you know everything that's going into it to make it a better credit score. So I think I was saying before, my highest has been 837. My goal was to get to that 850. But since the 837, I've had some up and down type things to happen. So it's still in the 800s, but it's not 837. So, you know, and then Naya, what do I always tell you about what a credit score is? It's basically like what? Say it louder.
Report card.
She said a report card. And why do we say it's a report card?
Because it has like 5 categories.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to like keep in check of your quote unquote grades.
Right. So as long as you know you got a report card coming out, excuse me, and you want to have the best possible grades. So if you're not checking periodically to see how you're doing in that class, how are you gonna really know that you're not doing well? If because maybe they don't tell you any results until you get your diploma. At this point, you can't go back and fix it, you know, because it's past due. So, um, there, like she said, there are 5 different things. So when I explained it to her, I treated it like 5 different subjects. Let's say you were taking math, English, world history, choir, and what's the other planes?
Flight in space.
Flight and split. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Sorry. Flight in space. And that was just happened to be the class that she's taking. So just like there are 5 things that affect your credit, she has 5 classes that affect her grade. So if you only do well in a couple of them, like for instance, she loves choir, so she's always got an A in it. And then what's another one that you kind of like? English? Okay, English. So we're gonna say for choir and English, she has 100 in both of those. Well, when it comes to math, flight in space, and world history, her scores are not an A, which means she needs to work on those particular things. So let's just say um with our credit score, we have 5 different things. And just like with the grades, her GPA at the end, if she's got 3 C's and 2 A's, it's not gonna give her a honor roll, you know. Same thing with your credit. If you got out of the 5 things that affect credit, if you have 2 of those things where your score is like 0, you don't even do nothing with it. Your score is still going to be low. And you could be sitting there saying, but I pay all my bills on time. I'm never late with my bills because a lot of people think that's what makes up a bad credit score. That is only 1/5 right because it's one of the 5 things. Now, mind you, it counts 35%, which is a nice chunk. But still, that's only two out of the five things. So by checking your credit often, by keeping a budget and making sure you stay under, trying to minimize card use for those that already have a high balance. All of this is gone over in our cash flow manager training. Now, this training has been successful for a lot of people. It's been successful for me because even though when I first started this, I was already in the 700s, but doing a lot of the things that I learned about credit, it took me over to like the eight plus, put it that way. So I always try to remind people credit is king. And I truly believe that. Because credit can stop you from having something that you really want just based on three numbers. When you look at it, that's all it is. It's three numbers that are affecting whether or not you will be approved for whatever your item is. Now, my favorite story, sad story that I always tell, is about how when I was pregnant with Nynee here, I was living in Florida and I wanted to get a recliner because I felt like after I had a baby, I would like to have a recliner to sit in, and that way we could both sleep in it without falling, and then I could get up quicker with the recliner. So I went out to Lazy Boy. Now back then, this is in like 2009. So um, I went out there, and at that time, my credit was probably maybe six something, high sixes. Might have been a seven, I don't know. So they ran the thing and they denied me. And you talking about somebody who was upset. Because when I tell you I had started working on my credit like 2 years before this, and I had pretty much was thinking I was paying everything off. And I went in that store and I don't know what their determining factors were, but the check went for $300 and they turned me down. So I had to walk out with my tail tucked between my legs, and I went on back to the car. And just like they said about the dude on Friday, he gonna cry when he get in the car. I got in the car and was crying my ass off. I was like, this just ain't right. And I'm about to have this daughter, and she gonna think her mama is stupid. That is literally how I was talking. I was cheap. I was ashamed for the child that she got a mama who couldn't get a $300 check on credit. But I'm gonna blame part of that on the pregnancy hormone. But it still pissed me off. I'm like, am I that high of a risk? So I got home. I pulled up my because I'm also a member of an Experian group. Now it's $24.99 a month. Do I feel like it's worth it? I do, because I can access my scores at any time and I can see where I am. If the scores have gone down, I can find out what they're looking at that made it go down. And all along I'm taking mental notes. Okay, note to self: do not do this. Blah 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 blah. So it's not like a super hard thing to do. I understand if maybe you've gotten yourself to kind of like down into a hole with credit, but piece by piece, you can get it back to where you want it to be. You just gotta have the directions, which we provide, and be able to put those directions to use and consistently, and you will see over time where your credit has advanced. So that is my spiel on credit. All of this credit is improved is I can't talk. Credit, the credit system is included in our uh myEcon software. So once you buy the software for 95 cents, if you get started now, it's a limited time this business opportunity is going to be only 95 cents to get in. Um, it's been as high as $45. Then I think they took it down to 19.95. Well, at the end of the year when it's the promo time, they usually do some type of drastic cut. So this time it's $1. In the past it was $4. One time it was $7. One time it was free, absolutely free. But you got to recognize the value of something before you are prepared to actually invest. And I get that. So what I would say is pay the 95 cents, go in, look and see what we have. Look and see what we have can improve where you are. If you don't understand what you're seeing, when you go to the back office, reach out to myself or Tony. Or even I might be able to explain some stuff to you. Can you explain some stuff to him? Never mind. She can give her experiences of being a business owner because, like we told y'all before, my Naya here and Tony started Tyler. We started them a hand sanitizing business during the
Wait,
pandemic.
so do that?
Yeah, we still doing it. Y'all just don't do nothing with it.
Tyler forgot. She forgot all about it.
Yeah, Tyler ain't doing nothing. And then y'all say it's our fault for not reminding you.
Yeah, you're right. It's our fault. I know. I accepted that now, but like I thought.
Yes, that business is still in full effect.
Okay.
So, for your hand sanitizing needs, say something to the people.
Yo.
For your hand sanitizing needs, feel free.
Check out our website, tyniessentials.com.
That's right.
And we have a YouTube channel.
Yep. That YouTube channel is almost defunct because
actually forget that
because it gets ignored. But anyway, it felt really good because one of the best things about this business is passing down generational wealth. The stuff that I'm telling y'all about credit, she's been hearing since she was 5 years old. So she already, even if she don't realize it, I'm sure by osmosis, a lot of this stuff has sank into her psyche, and it's probably gonna make her a better shopper or a manager of money. And one of the things I do for her, what's something I did for you to help you out with your credit, Poop? What's some of the things I did to help you out with your credit? You are a authorized user on what?
YouTube? I don't know.
I have added Naya to at least 2 of my major credit cards as an authorized user. So with her being an authorized user, of course, I have not given her the card. But she, every time I use credit and make a payment and do the right things, because she's an authorized user, she gets to feel that too. So even though she's only 13 and has not really applied for credit for anything, when she does, she will already have a credit history that goes back, I think, the first one I added her to, we had to still be living in Fultondale. So it's been at least 5 years. But the key to that is I have to make sure my credit is 100%. So, because just like my good credit will follow her, if I have bad credit, it's going to follow her too. So, that's something you have to think about. And that's also something that people are getting into now. People will sell you, they call it selling you a trade line. So, like, if my credit is almost 850 and I pay my bills on time, I do everything I'm supposed to do. Somebody else, for instance, my brother, he may be looking to buy a car. He knows his credit is not where it should be, but he feels like if he could get on with me as an authorized user for the next 4 or 5 months, that's going to show improvement. So what I would do is I would tell him, okay, yeah, I'll put you on. Now I'm not going to give you a card. I'm going to put you on, but it's going to be a name only. And the other thing is, I'm going to need you to pay me. You know, I could charge him $50 flat, or I could say so much a month, depending on how your credit improves. Because I'm doing this for him with that one card, but then that means he needs to be tightening up on his real credit stuff so that the increase happens. So that's called trade lines, and a lot of people are making money doing that. Letting people pay to be an authorized user on their card, and there's nothing illegal about it. I mean, that's just you saying you're letting a family member have a card, um, have a name, their name on your card. So that's another one of the big advantages. And credit, y'all, credit is important. And I'm gonna say it's important because a lot of times I've even experienced for a job, they wanted to run a credit report. And I'm like, hold up. Whether or not I pay my bills does not have anything to do with my job performance. So it's like, it's plenty of people that go to work and work hard every day and come home with a stack of bills on the table that they haven't paid, because even though they're working hard every day, they're not getting paid enough to keep the bills current. So I just feel like this crazy to use that as a qualification to get a job. But that's when I fall into, that's some elimination tactics right there. They trying to eliminate people from having access to certain stuff. Cause if my credit is at 837 and Naya's credit is at, let's give her 650. When me and Naya go and look to purchase something that has to be financed, if we're purchasing the exact same cars, let's say if she's driving age, same car, make, color, everything, because my credit score is at 837 and hers is a 650, she is gonna have most likely have a higher interest rate than I. So let that jump. I just want y'all to let that sink in. My payment might be $387 a month with my score. She got the same car. Her payment could possibly be $450 that she's paying. I mean, it almost doesn't seem fair, but whenever these lenders are giving you these loans, because you are a loan shot sometimes, if they don't turn you down, they'll get you something and they'll put it at a higher interest rate and they'll tell you this is the best we can do. And so I've had that happen too. But on my last vehicle, I got it before I started myEcon. It was financed for 4 years. So once I got in myEcon, I went back and checked and pay attention, people, to interest rates or annual interest percentage or whatever. Pay attention to how much that is. And when you start shopping for credit cards, try to look for those that have a lower APR, so that you can get the most bang for your buck. Because a lot of places will tear you up with interest charges, and at the same time, you still paying on a car note. And it seems kind of unfair, but it is what it is. They make the rules. But how I was able to pay mine off early, because what I learned from myEcon after I got in was to how to pay off my revolving debt. So eventually, after about 6 months, I had paid my revolving debt down. So now I'm looking at other decisions I need to make regarding finances. So one of the things I wanted to work on was, what was my next thing? Oh, my next thing was paying off that truck. So with the extra money that I had from paying off all of my revolving credit card bills, because they can add up, I was able to take money and make a second payment towards principal only on my car. So it's like I was paying it twice a month. And that really was helpful in knocking down the payments and getting it paid for quickly. But what I did not understand was, and I thought this was going to be a good thing, one of the things that they look at is your revolving your credit mix. Credit mix is um evolving debt and installment debt. Okay, revolving debt is typically credit cards, all that stuff. You pay them off, you still have the card, you can put more on and build it back up. Installment debt is like buying a house, buying a car. It's one of those things where you set up a plan to pay it off. So they encourage you to have at least one revolving debt and maybe two or three. Um, no, one installment and two or three revolving. So my car was my installment debt. So once I lost that, my credit mix was one sided. All I had was involving credit. So what I did to kind of, and all of these things, these strategies and tactics, I learned from being in myEcon. I went and got a personal loan from the bank, like a signature loan. I forget if there's a name for it. So I went and borrowed 5,000. So I would have an installment debt because that 5,000, I had what 2 years to pay it off, I believe. So that gave me my installment debt back. So even with that, I didn't spend the 5,000 on anything. I put that directly into my money market account, which is growing interest. And then every time I made a payment, you know, I was bringing it down, down, down. So I wasn't really losing any money, or other than the interest that they charged, and that wasn't a whole lot. I'd have to go back and look up and see what the total amount was. But I didn't lose any money, and it still made my credit look good because now I have both installment debt and revolving debt. And with this installment debt and being able to take the money and put it into my money market account, that money grew. So it's almost like I don't want you beating the system at their own game because you like, yeah, I'll take your money. You take the money and then you go put it somewhere where it can grow, and then you pay them off. It's a win-win. So that's another strategy that I picked up with this business. So I just wanted to kind of come on and talk about why we are pushing this 95-cent promo so hard. The reason being, we are so excited about the financial blessings we've received through this company. We want to see other people have the same financial blessings, and you can. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter if you're, in the word of Michael Jackson, it don't matter if you black or white. It don't matter if you tall or short. It don't matter nothing. We get all of our information from IRS publication. Our co-founders have been financial advisors for years. Um, so they teach investment as in teaching you what to look for, teaching you the terminology, showing you how these things are um used, like all the different compartments that make up that credit that you're in, that stock or whatever that you're interested in. They break that down and let you know when it's like, no, that's not a good idea. So it's the training that puts you on the right road for that. And so, um, yeah, that's a big part. I feel like everybody needs to know this information. A lot of times people don't want to talk about money, maybe because they think you want to borrow some, or they don't like to discuss their current financial situation because it ain't none of our business. And I 100% agree with that one. And that's why I always say, with this business, if you decide to get in, I will not see any of your personal information. I won't see your social. I won't see your bank account, how much money you make. None of that is a part of what I do. What I do is recruit people to come in, show them around their back office, show them what they need to do to get started on their journey to raise their credit score, and just introduce them. But the real work is left up to that individual because their goals may not be the same as my goals. I'm just showing them where they could go to, you know, get in touch with the goals that they're trying to get. So don't ever feel like if you sign up with this, I got your personal information. No, I do not. The most we get is an email saying that you have a new recruit, and they will include an email address. And the only reason they do that is so you can reach out to whoever signs up and kind of introduce yourself and, give them information on how they can contact you. So it's not a scam, guys. I know a lot of people think scams when they hear anything regarding network marketing. Network marketing is not a bad thing when you can make work. And what I mean by making it work is you are sharing. And as you share, other people want to get involved and they start sharing. And then before you know it, you have a whole, and we do, we have a really huge group, but it's spread out across the US. And Tony and I usually represent for the Alabama group, even though he's in Central Alabama and I'm in North Alabama. We still stay in touch. So the good thing about it is we got people everywhere. If you don't live here, you can still join this membership. And with all the technology we have, or you can just put out there, is anybody in the Oklahoma area? And then, somebody says yes, that might be somebody that you want to get to know in your business because y'all live in the same area. It's as simple as that. So I feel like I've talked to you guys long enough. And don't forget 10 to win. I'm trying to beat Tony so I can get that crispy $100 bill. So please share this video. Well, first of all, please like and subscribe if you have not already. Please share this video. And if you know of people who are looking for an opportunity to get started in doing something to make some money, please share the information. It might not be for you, but it might be what they've been looking for all along. So that's why I say, like, even when people are selling stuff that I don't use, like, I forget what they were selling. I think it was like a makeup line or something like that. And I'm like, I don't wear enough makeup to even, it'd be wasted on me. But I do have a cousin and she loves this. So I'm gonna put you in touch with her. The same thing. If you want to do that, pass it on. Be like, look, I heard this lady talking, laying across the couch with a headscarf on the other night. But what she was saying was making sense. So if, if you're interested in this, hit her link up because, girl, right now they letting you get started for 95 cents. And it's 95 cents for that first month. After that, it goes to the regular $39.95 a month, which is tax deductible, meaning you pay it out front, but then when you do your taxes, you go back and deduct that money that you used during the year to pay that. So that's how it ends up being free. But yeah, this business is great, especially for young people. Some of our biggest millionaires now are part of the what's the generation that do all the computer and the stuff? Would that be Gen X?
Hmm?
What is the generation called that's all into the computer and everything?
Oh no, all I know is that this generation is technically Gen Z, but it's still going forward.
Gen Z. Well, I know people. I call them.
Wait, no, Gen Z are the kids now. So.
Well, I call people like.
What if I know?
I call people like that. Millennials. Millennials. The ones who live, eat, sleep, and drink on their phone. Those subset of folks that joined us came in and hit the ground running because that was their forte anyway. That was their background. They were people who stayed on the internet and stayed gaming and stayed this. So all they did was took, because there's such a big group of gamers and stuff, they took the product and shared it with them. And they had people signing up on top of signing up on top of signing up. So now a lot of those people, those young people, Javier Medina, CJ, and I forget CJ's wife's name. We have Bonnie, and there's another lady who has a testimony. But these are all people who found out about this stuff, got in it long enough to figure out what was going on, and took off. So it's possible if you, especially if you have that type of a background where you're like a um digital geek, this is gonna be perfect for you. So think about it. Well, don't even think about it. Hell, it's 95 cents. Go and pay the 95 cents. Get in there and be nosy as you want to. Pretend like we're giving you um a free car to test drive for a month. And all we ask is that you bring it back to us the way we gave it to you. So you got um a whole month to drive it fast, drive it slow, uh, back it up, check out all the features, make sure that his seat heat appropriately. You got all this time to figure out what all is going on with this car. And if you don't like it, you take it back to the dealership and it's done. Same thing with this 95 cent membership. You come in, 95 cents, you got access to everything I have access to. You go back in the back office, you can look at the credit repair. You can look at the investment information. You can look at the cash flow manager. You can look at the cash flow strategist. You can look up the information about Zingo's travel. So all of that you get to look at and play around with, and at the same time, reach out to other people and tell them about it. And at the end of 30 days, if it's not for you, then you can switch back over. The only thing I will say is if you get in, and the first thing we do recommend is that you update your W-4, because now you're not only just a W-2 employee working a 9 to 5 for somebody else, you are now a 1099 that has your own business. So when you go in and update that W-4, you get to check out some more things because now you have deductions that regular 9 to 5 people can't get. So what Uncle Sam does for people who have businesses, he says, "Okay, I'm gonna cut you some slack because I know you need your cell phone to do your business. I know you need your car to get around when you're doing your business. And these are things that they are going to pay you back for, which is why keeping good records is so important. Because you want to be able to give that laundry list and make sure that you are getting reimbursed appropriately as a business owner. So I don't want to get too deep into it, but I do, when I start talking about the business, I do get excited because of how far it has brought me, how far it has brought Tony, how far it's brought our girls that they have their own business now. These were things that back in 2015 when I signed up, I in no way saw this in my future. I just told him, he said, "Well, you can quit in time." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to try it." And 8 years later, here I am. So I am a witness that this program works and that the advantages of having a home-based business uh kicks the advantages of working for somebody in the ass because it's a whole nother ball game. So I hope this information was helpful. Hey J True. Hey, she said, "Hey baby, I'm in bed halfway asleep. I'm really interested in what you are talking about." Okay, well, you going back to sleep, girl. Just catch the replay. And we were just talking about credit and how credit is king. You can go, Pooh. Ugh, she gone. He said, "I need your undivided attention, please." Okay, you got my undivided attention. Um, Now if you ever want to talk one on one, you can always reach out to me and we can have a discussion if you want. If you have more questions you want to ask, I'm available for that. But I was just about to wind down and get off anyway. But yeah, if you want to let me see if I can. I'm gonna put my comment. How do I put my comment in? Okay, his own comments. Well, it's on my about page too. If you go to my about page, you can see my I would start, but I don't know where to begin. Oh, that's no problem. I understand it. Okay. But my email is it's better that I type it out. It's long. It's melking74.mk@gmail. And that's why I wanted to type it out because it is long as shit. But I'll be in touch. I'll be back online tomorrow because back to work tomorrow. My little vacation is done. So, um, yeah, hit me up tomorrow and we can talk about it because that's what I'm here for. I know a lot of times, and especially if it's somebody that you're not familiar with, you kind of skeptical because I'm a skeptic too, and I always have a lot of questions about stuff. So, yeah, we can talk about it tomorrow. Thank you for always coming through and supporting. When you see the light on over here, I appreciate that. So yeah, go back and Red Ball. I was just giving some general information about credit, and I just want people to understand that this 95-cent membership for the first 30 days, you got access to everything. So you can go in there and look at it and compare where you are on your credit or whatever, or even if just you want to just get in and get the training on investments, stuff like that. All of that you can do practically for free for the first 30 days. And like I said, if it's not for you, we ain't mad if you cancel it. But I always say share it with people who you may think it is for. So anyway, Jay Truth, I look forward to talking to you tomorrow or later this week, whenever you want to catch up. And I'm about to call it a night because I got to go back to work. But thank you so much for coming through. Coming through. I appreciate you. My partner that ran off. She's supposed to be doing this ride with me, but her input was minimal. So I told her she can go and go to bed. Kids ain't gonna do right. But anyway, have a great night. See you tomorrow.